Hi everyone, this is my 1 year update on me losing my vision in my left eye due to a retinal detachment, having an emergency vitrectomy, unfortunately getting all of my sight back, but everything that happened in between. So if this is happening to you or you're just curious about it, then stick around. I've been meaning to make this video for a while because I have been a year and now it's been a month since I had my emergency surgery to save my vision. And I actually just had someone reach out to me on Instagram telling me their story and that my videos were really helpful for them and helpful for their anxiety, which is the entire reason that I made a video on this. Because when it happened to me, I went to TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and everything and searched it because I wanted to know that somebody who was younger like me had had a good outcome, because generally this type of like injury and surgery only happens in older people. And that's because retinal detachments are not common with younger people unless you're nearsighted or you have like maybe a genetic condition or you've had an injury like a car crash or you've been punched in the face, something like that. So I was one of the rare and unique people who I have what's called lattice degeneration, and I had just barely been diagnosed with that. And I saw a retinal specialist once. So they told me the signs to look out for with a retinal detachment. I didn't think that much of it until one day I woke up and I had, I don't know, kind of like a flashing in my eye. Like you'll know if you ever have it where you're like, that's weird. And it wouldn't be all the time. It would be like I'd look over here and it would almost flash. So I just tried to ignore it for a day. It didn't go away the following day. And so I ended up calling my eye doctor and they got me in that night to whoever was on call. And he said, you need to see a retinal specialist the next day. It wasn't a full detachment at that point in time. It was just a tear. And so at that point in time, I saw retinal detachment the next morning, and he told me he recommended a vitrectomy at that point in time, which was terrifying to me because he said, we'll suck the vitreous fluid out of your eye, we'll repair it, we'll have you lay down on your face for 7 straight days, and then your body will reproduce like the vitreous fluid with its own fluid. And then in a few years, you might have to have cataract surgery. So that was terrifying to me. And I said, what other option do we have? And at that point in time, he suggested a laser retinopexy. So that's the choice that I decided to go with. And I did a laser, which made me lose some of my peripheral vision. Not much at that point in time, but I did notice it a little bit. And unfortunately, about 3 weeks later, I woke up one morning and it looked like there was a almost just like a dark cone in the bottom of my eye. And I thought maybe it's just like floaters and stuff settling. As the day went on, it started to like grow into my visual field until I finally closed my right eye and I stuck my hand out and I couldn't see my hand at all because like it was like starting to fully detach. So I went to the emergency department, and at that point in time they told me that I was having a full-fledged macular off retinal detachment. I happened to be in Hawaii at the time. And so I flew home that night, saw my surgeon the next day, and then had surgery the following day after that. It's not necessarily something you have to have urgently done like ASAP. I mean, obviously, the sooner the better, but they say just within like a few days. So that was kind of wild to me too, because I was panicking, thinking it needed to be done ASAP. But I'm glad I was able to get home to Utah, have surgery here, and then do my recovery with like my friends and family supporting me here. Um, because when they put a gas bubble in your eye, then you cannot fly for 3 weeks because of the chance of like the pressure cabin changes. Like it could, yeah, that would be terrible. But anyways, I'm trying to think of what else I should update you on. I don't want to like do too much about the like original injury and like what my experience was with my surgery, because you can go back and watch me explaining my vitrectomy, as well as I think I did a 6 month update video. Um, it was terrifying though. Obviously, I had tons of anxiety because I didn't know if I was going to see with my left eye ever again, because it had like fully detached. So I couldn't see at all with this eye, just like a little shadow up in the corner. And as I was in my full face down 7 day recovery, I started seeing like glimpses of light and things moving a little bit. And I remember the day I opened my eyes and I could see my hand a little bit. I was so grateful, because at that point in time, it meant I was at least going to get some vision back. Um, Getting through 7 days of recovery is not easy. You'd think like just laying on your face for 7 straight days, that's a dream, but it's really not, just because you have a lot of anxiety, and like sleeping on your face, there's no way to sugarcoat it. It sucks. But I just had to think about what am I going to do for the next 15 minutes? And it was like, I'm going to color. What am I going to do for the next 15 minutes after that? I'm going to talk to a friend on the phone. Like, I just had to take my days in small little chunks like that, because if I thought about the fact that I had 6 more days to go, it would freak me out. So I got through that way. I did a lot of meditations. I did a lot of gratitude and just trying to like visualize my eye healing itself. And I just ate healthy and tried to give my body every possible chance to repair my eye instead of having to focus on breaking down McDonald's or anything like that. And so I know those are some holistic views of it and not necessarily anything that's science backed, but for me, it helped me to know I was doing everything possible to allow my body to heal as fast as it could and effectively as it could. And fortunately, 1 year later, I can say that I can see very, very well out of my left eye. I've gotten full 20/20 vision back, which is such a blessing. I did lose a lot of peripheral, which means that like when I see this, when I'm staring straight forward, I don't see it until about right here. So I have to be really careful with like I left the grocery store parking lot the other day and I didn't hear an electric vehicle coming up from my left. So it's just like a habit where I need to look to my left. Like driving my first time was really difficult, merging on, but you like learn to need to look that way, whereas previously like your peripheral vision catches a lot of things. um what else that I need to cover? Your brain does adapt to it over time, though. So even though I had peripheral loss, I don't notice it near as much. Whereas, like, when I was first in recovery, I noticed it a lot. And now you just get used to it. So your brain's an incredible thing. And they did say, like, sometimes your other eye will accommodate for losses with the other eye. As far as my vision goes, it was really difficult right after surgery and right after the air bubble popped, because it is about 3 weeks. It's weird because at some point in time when the air bubble's like halfway down, you can like see over it and see below it and it like bounces. So yeah, you're not going to want to do many activities, otherwise you're going to get vertigo. It was like I was car sick. um but as it popped and my vision was really blurry, but it started to get clearer and clearer and clearer. But it was like this eye was seeing really far away versus this eye was seeing normal. So that was really difficult because I had headaches all the time, especially when I was trying to work, because I didn't take any leave from my job just because I almost needed it to have something to like mentally stimulate me through the day. And so that was difficult because I'd have to go lay down in the dark and just like let my eyes take a break, let my head have a break. And it was hard. It was summer and it was hard to be outside because it was really bright. So a lot of times I had to have a hat and sunglasses on as well to protect my eyes. Now I'm not quite as sensitive to the sun. Um, and it was like each time I'd go back to the eye doctor, the retinal specialist, it was like, okay, you're seeing 20/80. Okay, you're seeing 20/60. Okay, you're back to 20/40. And then ultimately got back to 20/20 with corrective lenses, of course. They do recommend that you wait a couple months before you go to a eye doctor to have your prescription changed. So that was something I really looked forward to, is having a new set of glasses and new contacts that had an updated prescription, and that helped me see a lot better too. As far as the anxiety goes, that has just gotten less and less and less with time, because right at first I would wake up and the first thing I would do is be like, can I see? Um, and I don't have that panic that I used to. It did take several months to go away. When I think about the future in my eyes, that's a little scary to me, thinking about having cataract surgeries and like future surgeries. But I just am trying to take it one day at a time and be grateful that I can see today and just focus on today. And then it's like, we never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So I will worry about tomorrow. Um, so that's like really helped me, is just trying to be grateful each day that I can see, and I can see really well out of my two eyes. Once you don't know if you're going to see out of both of your eyes, it's almost like nothing else matters. Um, they did proactively do a 360 laser treatment with my right eye to tack that down, and that has been interesting because I actually see clearer now out of my left eye than I do my right eye. And that's because when they did the laser treatment, it released several floaters and things. I'm sure it's like pieces of blood or whatever. And so I have way more floaters in my right eye than I ever did before. And so I notice it a lot, especially when I'm driving. That's when it seems like I have the most floaters and stuff coming in and out of my visual field. So it's crazy now that it's like my left eye almost sees better than my right eye does because it doesn't have that vitreous fluid in it anymore. But I don't know. I've just gotten used to it with time, and I just say it just is what it is, and it's something that I'm going to deal with. And I'm just grateful that I can see as well as I can today. And I'm just hopeful that in the future they continue to come out with technology that will help people that have had eye injuries or retinal detachments or different things like that. So if you're watching this and you're in this situation, I just wanted to put this out there as a beacon of hope for you that I am on the other side of it and I survived it. My anxiety is at a very manageable level. I can see well, and it's not something that's debilitating in my daily life like it was for a while. It was not easy, but it is crazy with time. You just heal and you don't notice it as much anymore. And so life is really good, and you're welcome to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. People have done that on my other videos, and I'm happy to talk with you. And I just wish you the best of luck in your healing recovery if you're facing the same situation. So thank you for watching, and good luck with everything.